Queen Victoria was particularly protective of her youngest child Princess Beatrice, who was born just 4 years before the death of her father Albert, Prince Consort, and grandmother Victoria, Duchess of Kent, in April 1857. Known affectionately as Baby, Beatrice was indulged more than her older siblings and has widely been described as Victoria's favourite. However, her closeness with her mother led to problems further down the line, and when the princess brought up the prospect of marriage, tensions in the mother-daughter relationship became present. Get the latest royal news straight to your phone by joining our WhatsApp community. In 1884, at the wedding of her niece Princess Victoria of Hesse and by Rhine and Prince Louis of Battenberg, Beatrice met her future husband. Among the guests was the groom's brother, Prince Henry of Battenberg, with whom Beatrice quickly fell in love. Upon her return from Darmstadt, Germany, where the nuptials took place, the princess informed her mother that she intended to marry, a declaration Victoria was not pleased with. The Queen reacted with frightening silence and refused to speak to her daughter for several months. The 8 biggest bombshells in new royal TV series as Harry deemed dispensable by Queen. A new ITVX documentary is jam-packed with new hair-raising claims and insights into how the royal family has operated for the past few decades. It includes how Prince Harry's life was seen as dispensable, whereas his older brother Prince William was to be more heavily protected. At that point, the pair were living together, with Beatrice having taken on the role of her mother's companion and caretaker, a duty traditionally undertaken by the youngest daughter of the family. Despite Beatrice remaining by her mother's side, the Queen did not speak to her, choosing to communicate by written notes from May 1884, when the princess announced her intentions, to November of that year. Victoria expressed her displeasure in her journal, writing, "What agonies, what despair, horror and dislike of the most violent kind for the idea of my precious baby's marrying at all." The intense reaction surprised even her family members, who made an effort to encourage the Queen's acceptance of Beatrice's marriage. Alexandra, Princess of Wales, later Queen Alexandra, and Victoria, Princess Royal, the monarch's eldest child, subtly persuaded Victoria to resume talking to Beatrice, who, as they reminded her, had brought such happiness to the late Prince Consort. Ultimately, Victoria resumed talking to her daughter and consented to the marriage, but her permission came with conditions. The Queen demanded that Henry give up his German commitments and live permanently with Beatrice and the Queen, requirements the bride and groom to be accepted. Beatrice and Henry married at St Mildred's Church, Whippingham, the Isle of Wight, on July 23, 1885. The church was just a short distance from Osborne House, Victoria's beloved private residence on the island, and where the newlyweds were to settle into married life. Don't miss. Poll: do you support Prince Harry attending coronation alone? Poll: Harry and Meghan think mission accomplished but face problem. Latest: Harry and Meghan were hurt by Frogmore renovations outrage. Insight: they honeymooned at Coraby House, also a short distance from Osborne, leaving the Queen in an emotional state. Victoria bore up bravely till the departure and then fairly gave way, as she later admitted to her eldest daughter. After a short honeymoon, Beatrice and Henry fulfilled their promise, returning to the Queen's side at Osborne. Victoria made it clear that she could not cope on her own, telling the couple they could not travel without her. The couple later built their own apartment within the residence and welcomed 4 children. The princess continued to serve as her mother's caretaker, a role she threw herself deeply into following Henry's tragic death in 1896. Henry contracted malaria, having joined the Ashanti expedition fighting in the Anglo-Ashanti War. He died on his return journey, leaving Beatrice grief-stricken. 5 years later, Beatrice was hit by further tragedy following the death of her mother, who, by her own account, was at the center of everything. She wrote to the principal of the University of Glasgow in March 1901, 2 months after Victoria's death. You may imagine what the grief is. I, who had hardly ever been separated from my dear mother, can hardly realize what life will be like without her, who was the center of everything.
Now